previously on the Overbrook Show. There's always been a tie between hip-hop and basketball. The culture is so similar, and
just chilling in the projects, that's pretty much where I learned how to play, ball, rap, dance, and just politic in general. I thought I was a man because I used to kind of like react and like, yo, well, I'm not gonna take that disrespect. What? Right. We're gonna fight. That's right. To me, that was what a man was, What's being a man now is like the people that are really disciplined, take care of their people. Not too much about how much money you make, but how much of that you give back.
Basketball is politics. I know the game, and I know the game in a way where I saw what it looked like at every level. You ain't locking me out. You just can't,
There was many different factors to it, but I think those tears are the reason I got the job. Never let no be a no. Learn how to pivot yourself around no's.
Keep going up. Remember what's the end goal, right? 1% every day to do what? To win the OCA championship. At 1% every day, habits will build. The habits you build today is what will lead you to a championship in February or March. Let's go. Let's get this dub and let's get back to Ottawa.
Yeah. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Together.
Basketball is a game of runs. You hear that a lot from different coaches, different great coaches, from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, the game is gonna go like this. Sometimes it's gonna be in your favor, sometimes it's not. And you have to kind of ride all those emotions so that when you get to the end of the game, you get to your result.
That's good. Good job, boys. That's good. Good.
You have to be able to finish off the weekend before you go back home. This is business. Business is not done when you do half a project. If that's how you guys are running and operating your life, you're not going to be successful. You have to complete the project. Now we got 2 so far, right? They're ugly, but we still got 2, right? Let's show them how we play basketball in Ottawa. Right?
Salut! Good shot. After you get the ball. Good roll, bang out.
When we met our goal, we wanted to win and we got our wins. And I think it's not with me, it's not getting the wins, but it's how you win. And we won in a standard that I think is what we need to keep throughout the season. The positives were that these guys started to trust each other and they got to see how good it feels to trust one another. Still figuring out what I'm doing, I know I love doing this.
but I'm still figuring it out as I go. What I want everyone to take from this show is learning how to apply any form of love to what you do. I know that's very cliche. I know everybody says love, 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 but I think that there's a power in love. And if you know how to appreciate and put gratitude into your day, into your work, into your creativity, into your craft, I think you're able to attract everything you want into your life. So if you see the progression from the starting of what we've done to where we are right now, I just love the process. And every time I'm always seeing new outcomes that I couldn't see before, and it's all because of a perspective of love. So love what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, get into something else that you do love and do it to the best of your abilities.
Okay, guys, we just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's coming, everyone who took time, regardless of the weather, to just come out and support this initiative. ACAO is really grateful to have all of you here, Prezdential, the Hera Mission, Equal Chance, everybody is so grateful that all of you are here each year. Some of you, your faces, I see you. You've been here last year, you're here again, ready to donate and to help families. So we're really grateful for that.
I'm Gwen. I'm a believer, I'm a mother, I'm a sister. I am the president of Equal Chance and the founder of Equal Chance, a foundation that works to support Black families, vulnerable Black families, Black members of the community who face homelessness, who have low incomes, and just support them with programs that can help them thrive within our society. At 12, my father asked me, "What is your purpose in life?" And it remains the same today. My purpose is to be in service of others. My purpose is to be used by God to be in service of others. That's why whatever God gives me, including my home, is not just for me. So that's why even in my house, I've welcomed homeless families who've lived here, homeless youth who just needed a break. My home is open to all my families at the Tabor, at the Concord, at the Paris Motel, at the Ottawa Inn, within that neighborhood. They know and it always brings me so much joy when I have some kids that come and knock and say, "We just want to play in the basement, go ahead and play," because that wasn't just given for me to enjoy alone. It was given for me to give back to my people as well. When we enter their space and the kids drop their bags to run and Auntie Gwen is here, and somehow you, whether you wanted it or not, end up representing hope for them. And that even sometimes when there's like situations in which they become hopeless, just picking up their phone to call you makes them feel better, and they tell you, just the fact that I can hear your voice appeases my heart. My job is done. I really don't care about what A, B, C, X, Y, Z has to say. I care about what my family and the families that have now become my family through the foundations that I work in and the foundations that I launched say.
Does Mom need any more food, or do you guys need more food? You sure? No. You just be humble. Let him help you. Alright, I'm gonna find your sister some toys.
Get you set up.
You're a coach. That's what you were meant to be. If I look at what your life has been like, God never just wanted you to be a player. He wanted you to be a coach. He wanted you to share leadership. So that's why he put you in the position in which you're today, where you have the most respected basketball program in the city for children. And so I think that what we need to understand, for example, if I put myself in your shoe, Well, everybody wants to be Jordan. You want it to be Phil Jackson because you understand that more trophies and more rings, you know, like I don't know how many, let's say he had 10, 11 rings. I don't know how many he had.
11, yeah.
11, how many did Jordan have?
6.
6. So you understand that 11 rings is better than 6 rings.
Frustrated at whatever, and Manock, he changed me completely. He just made me focus on more than just the game and myself, right?
Well, there's some praise from a basketball player for his coach, Manock Lual. Through his social enterprise, Prezdential, Lual works with youth in Overbrook and beyond, both on and off the court. Meanwhile, in the West End, players with the West Ottawa Basketball Association, who've trained under coach Julie Richards, says she is inspiring, supportive, relentless, and fun. Tonight, both coaches will move from the sidelines into the spotlight at Ottawa City Hall. They are this year's recipients of the Brian Kilray Award for Excellence in Coaching, and they're both on the line with me this morning. Manock, we did a little bit more sleuthing around about you. Another one of your players, Desmond Anuku, told us this. Wow. He said, quote, Manock impacted my life in a way very different from basketball. He taught me leadership and gave me the opportunity to express myself. Now I know the power I hold in my hands and how much of a difference I can make in my little bubble. How does it feel to hear those words?
It feels like all the work that we've done from the beginning and all the influence that we've tried to create within the inner cities, it's really echoing.
Whenever there's adversity, that's when you're gonna have something great at the end of your journey.
Absolutely.
But with you, it seems like that's the trend. Like you'll go through all this adversity, but somewhere is a space in that adversity where it's like, oh, I understand why I went through all that.
Oh yeah,
now,
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's when I know when adversity kicks in, I smile. I get frustrated. I'm like, nah, man, like, God, come on, give me a break. You know, I know it's gonna be a great breakthrough, but yeah, like, give me a break, man. Like, what's going on? I just want people to understand that we're all in this together, that we're one people under one roof as one nation, and that there are far more things that unite us than divide us, that from the greatest pains in our lives comes the greatest gems, and that we have to just keep pushing, keep going, keep supporting other people, keep empowering other people. And we must understand that when one of us win, it's a moment for all of us to celebrate because there's room for everybody to win. There is always room for all of us to excel in everything that we do. So let's start believing in each other. It's time for us to see each other as brothers and sisters, as kings and queens and more. And it's time for us to start just uplifting our society and our people. That's all I want people to know, is just keep going, keep pushing, believe in yourself like you believe in others, encourage yourselves like you encourage others.
I'm a goal chaser, right? So it's like, I want this award, then I got it, then it's like, oh, okay. Well, I want that award, then I got it, then it's like, oh, okay, then I want that award, you know? And it's like, I had to learn how to kind of be present in your victories and learn how to celebrate them before you move on to the next one, right? Or else you're just like, you're kind of living for achievements as opposed for living for the moments and appreciation of like everything that you're doing. So I think like the Brian Killer Award was a huge award just to celebrate the appreciation of how far we've come. You know, a few years ago, no one knew who we were, you know what I mean? And just a lot of quality programming, quality basketball development, quality of everything we put out, videos on Instagram. You know, when I first started, I used to do it on my cell phone. Then my friends started telling me, yo, the video quality is whack, but the content is dope. I'm like, okay, let me get a videographer. So investing back into the projects. You know, there's times where I wanted to quit this, you know? There's times where I was gonna finish this and just move back to Africa and see how I can figure it out, you know, back home. And like, I just stayed with it, you know? There's people that like kept me grounded during those times and like stayed with it. And through that growth and through that development, you know, looking at where I was when I was in my depression, when I was, you know, coming out of all this and starting this, and then all the pain and all the healing and everything just growing with this whole thing. And now like I'm standing in rooms with, you know, politicians and different people that I just never thought I can be in these spaces, you know. It's crazy from where I was to where I am. It's like amazing to understand the process. I'm just loving the process.
Now we'll move on to the final award of the evening. Created in 2003 in recognition of Brian Kilrea's 1000th career victory, the Brian Kilrea Award for Excellence in Coaching honors the contributions of an amateur coach who best exemplifies the qualities of leadership and commitment that have been the hallmarks of Brian Kilrea's career. This year, Mr. Manock Lual is one of two 2021 Brian Kilrea Award for Excellence in Amateur and Coaching. Manock Lual is a former pro basketball player who came to Canada as a refugee from South Sudan. He is founder and head coach of Prezdential, a non-profit that is dedicated to bridging the gap faced by disadvantaged youth in Ottawa, and particularly racialized youth living in low-income communities. Coach Manock and his team at Prezdential Basketball supported the youth of Ottawa through initiatives that aided their general mental health and well-being. Prezdential Basketball now includes financial literacy programming, cooking classes, a youth media program, an annual backpack drive, after-school programming, and the Overbrook Show. And we are honored to have Mr. Brian Kilrea with us this evening, and I invite him to come forward to assist with this presentation. Mr. Lual, accompanied by his ward counselor as well, Rawlson King.
It may not be as big as to a lot of people, but for me, I think the greatest difference that I've made in a lot of people's lives is just allowing them to see the light within them and shining as bright as possible. Like when I first started this, I wasn't really getting paid for this. It wasn't a lucrative venture. It was just an opportunity to use my resources to connect as much youth as possible to post-secondary opportunities. And doing that successfully, now it's grown into something bigger.
If any of our brothers, any Black person wins, it's a victory for all Black people, for me. And so you surprise yourself sometimes. And I always tell people the same way you applaud for these celebrities and you're in awe of their work, be in awe of yourself as well. Be in awe of like the small steps that you've made to even be able to wake up in the midst of the depth of the pain that you feel at times. You're still able to wake up in the morning and go forward and grow forward and give yourself a little bit more chance and the courage, the courage to just say, you know what, yesterday didn't really quite work the way I wanted it to work, but God, I thank you because today I'm gonna get one step closer to where you promised me I will get to. You don't become chosen, you are chosen, right? So, and then I feel like to a certain extent we're all chosen. It's just that we choose to honor that privilege or not.
What is your why?
My why is my parents. They gave me birth. They brought me into this world and they asked me not for money, not for physical things, but just for honor, to honor them And I try my best to honor my father and my mother. No one is perfect. No one is the best parent they could be to a child. But my parents never made us feel like we lacked anything, even on days that they had nothing. And my parents always encouraged me to give back to others and always made me understand that, you know, there's room for all of us to win, like I said. And so for me, in everything that I want to do and in everything that I do, I always choose to honor my parents.
Going through all that pain, really healing and understanding like who I am for the first time again, you know, from like the core, from the center. That's where Prezdential started, you know. I was sitting with my boy once and I told him like, we can't be doing this because we were just doing nonsense. Pascal, you know, Prez at the time actually. So I was talking to Prez and Prez goes, yo, I tell him like, yo, we gotta do something different. You know, what we're doing right now, there's no sustainability in it, you know. And he goes, I tell him like, we're gonna start a basketball company. And I'm like, what are we gonna call it? And he's like, Prezdential. And once he said that, I'm like, yo, you sure? He's like, yeah, Prezdential. And it made sense, you know, like, he put the Z in it, and I know he has his own reasons for it, but for me, that Z always symbolized like my journey, you know. I was a fat kid, I got in shape, like everything I had to do my whole life had to be processed, and I had to respect the process. And it got to the point where I, at this point in my life, loved the process, you know. And starting with the Z and getting yourself to A has been my whole life. And Prezdential, what it represents, I guess, is that right there, you know, just loving the process and knowing that when you love the process, you get everything that you want out of the process.
I have worked with BIPOC youth in Ottawa's inner city communities for the past 5 years. I also grew up in Overbrook and saw firsthand how trauma, poverty, and a lack of structural support limited our choices in life. I've seen many youth from these communities fall through the cracks due to gaps in the system. Canada is supposed to be a beacon of success both for diversity and quality of life. But there are serious inequalities in terms of who gets access to that quality of life. The country relies on nonprofit organizations to provide a lot of its social services, but BIPOC grassroots organizations struggle to jump the hurdles and access the funding necessary to meet our community's needs. Meanwhile, this funding continues to be funneled to the same organizations year after year, who continue to provide the same outcomes. Much of the programming is no longer relevant to today's needs and lacks diverse representation. Many of our current systems are not adequately preparing our at-risk youth with the skills and mental and emotional stability required to succeed in the real world. I believe in the power of Prezdential, in the impact of our programs and community development efforts. I believe with the right support, Prezdential will continue to make real impact in the lives of our youth while fighting these systematic inequalities. Prezdential needs your help. We are on a mission to create sustainability, the sustainability of our community. We are aiming to create our own space where we can continue to implement culturally specific programming, leadership and skills development using sports and other creative outlets as our tools. There is a void of programming for youth after they turn 18. We would like to provide those youth with transitional programming and healthy outlets for their physical and mental health. We are also aiming to expand our success in Overbrook to other priority neighborhoods within Ottawa. These are our current objectives. If you would like to support, donate, or think you can help us towards our mission to create sustainability and grow our impact, please contact us at prezdentialbasketball@gmail.com or reach out to us on Instagram at prezdentialhoops or Facebook at Prezdential.